The royal world just got turned upside down. In a moment no one saw coming, Princess Charlene broke her silence with a chilling statement.
For many years, Princess Charlene smiled in front of others, but deep down, she felt very sad. She stayed quiet, even when people started to think something was wrong. But now, after years of silence and speculation, she's finally ready to speak out. Behind her royal life were hidden secrets, pain, and many tears. Now the world will finally hear her side of the story. But what was really happening behind those palace gates? Join us as we uncover what the princess has been keeping secret for so long. Beneath the royal splendor. When Prince Albert of Monaco first met Charlene Wittstock at a swimming competition in 2000, it looked like the start of a royal love story. Charlene was a talented swimmer from South Africa, known for her beauty, calm personality, and elegant presence, almost like a character from a fairy tale. Prince Albert ruled a small but rich country known for its glamour, but he was still trying to lead Monaco into a more modern era. From the outside, they seemed like a perfect couple. But sometimes, things that look perfect on the surface can be hiding something more complicated. Their real relationship didn't start until 2005, when they met again and slowly began appearing in public together. In 2006, they showed up as a couple at the Winter Olympics, and Charlene quickly gained attention for her quiet and graceful personality. Many were surprised and impressed that Albert, who had a history of different relationships and children born outside marriage, now seemed ready to settle down. People also started comparing Charlene to his late mother, Princess Grace. In June 2010, the couple got engaged, and the country celebrated what seemed like the start of a new royal fairy tale. But behind the smiles and headlines, things weren't quite right. As the wedding day in July 2011 came closer, strange rumors started to spread. These weren't typical wedding nerves. Some reports said Charlene tried to leave Monaco 3 times before the wedding. One even claimed she went to the South African embassy in Paris. Another said her passport was taken away to stop her from leaving. The palace denied all of it, but pictures from the wedding told a different story. Charlene was seen crying, not tears of joy, but ones that looked like sadness and heartbreak. Still, the wedding went on. It lasted 3 days, full of fancy events, music, famous guests, and royal traditions. Charlene wore a beautiful dress made by Giorgio Armani and stood beside Prince Albert, doing her royal duties quietly and with strength. Albert smiled for the cameras, but Charlene's lack of emotion and constant tears were what people noticed most. The media even called her a runaway bride, although officially nothing was wrong. After the wedding, Charlene's life seemed very controlled. She appeared at events, waved to the public, and took pictures with her new family. But something always felt off. She rarely gave interviews, and when she smiled, it often looked forced. Over time, she started showing up less and less. The palace claimed she was sick, traveling, or dealing with personal matters. But her absence became hard to ignore. It was as if she was slowly disappearing. In 2014, Charlene and Prince Albert had twins, Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella. For a while, it looked like things were finally getting better. People hoped the children would bring the couple closer and help heal the quiet sadness around Charlene. But behind closed doors, things were still difficult. Even as a new mother, Charlene seemed distant. People close to her noticed she seemed torn between her royal duties and a desire to escape. The public wanted to believe in the dream. Monaco had once lost Grace Kelly, and many hoped Charlene could become the new symbol of grace and strength. But instead of hope, more doubts started to grow. In 2021, Charlene went to South Africa to treat a sinus infection. It was supposed to be a short visit, but she stayed for months. Looking back, it seems the love story was never as perfect as it looked. Charlene's quiet nature, Rare smiles and long absences weren't just signs of shyness. They hinted at something deeper. The fairy tale had cracks. Cracks caused by pain, and most of all, betrayal. Just before the wedding, Charlene discovered something that felt like a deep betrayal. But was there actually an act of unfaithfulness? Let's take a closer look and reveal how Prince Albert shattered her heart. Charlene's heartbreak and betrayal. Just weeks before the royal wedding in 2011, things started to go wrong again. A woman from Brazil made a shocking claim. She said Prince Albert was the father of her daughter and that the child was conceived while he was already in a relationship with Charlene. This news deeply hurt Charlene. To most people, it was just another royal scandal and an eye-catching headline. But for Charlene, it was heartbreaking. She was already feeling unsure and quietly struggling behind the scenes. Now she had to face the possibility that Albert hadn't been honest with her or with anyone. And this wasn't the first time. Albert had already admitted to having 2 children outside of marriage. One was with a flight attendant from Togo, and the other with an American real estate agent. Both situations were handled quietly. He agreed to support the children, and the palace didn't say much, hoping the public would forget. For a while, many did. But the Brazilian woman's claim came at the worst time, right before the wedding. It wasn't just a reminder of Albert's past. It shook the trust between him and Charlene, and for her, it felt like more than a betrayal. It made her seriously question whether marrying him was the right choice. The woman said her daughter was conceived in 2005, a time when Albert and Charlene were already publicly a couple. If this was true, it meant Albert had broken her trust from the very beginning. His lawyers quickly denied the claim, calling it a lie made out of jealousy. But for Charlene, the damage was already done. This wasn't just about gossip or a court case. For her, it was deeply personal. It made her wonder if Albert truly loved her, or if she was just a part of the image the palace wanted to present. Charlene never spoke about the situation in public. She didn't have to. Soon, rumors started that she wanted to leave Monaco. French and South African media reported that she had tried to leave more than once.
Some French reporters stated that she made not 1, not 2, but 3 attempts to escape Monaco and go back to her homeland, South Africa.
Once from Paris, again during the Monaco Grand Prix, and then just days before the wedding. It was said that palace staff stopped her each time. One report even claimed they took her passport to make sure the wedding happened. The palace denied it all, calling the rumors false, but they didn't go away. Then came the wedding. Charlene walked down the aisle with a calm face, but she cried at the altar. Not just once, but many times. Some thought the tears were from joy, but others weren't so sure. People noticed she looked uncomfortable and unsure. Prince Albert seemed calm, but Charlene looked like she was carrying a heavy burden. Then, in 2021, Charlene disappeared completely. The official story was that she had gone to South Africa for charity work and got a serious infection in her ears, nose, and throat. The palace said she needed several surgeries and couldn't fly back home. At first, people believed this, but when days turned into weeks and weeks into months, doubts started to grow. She stayed in South Africa for 6 months. She missed her 10th wedding anniversary and other big events in Monaco. The silence from the palace only made things feel stranger. Rumors spread fast. Some people thought she was using her illness as an excuse to escape. Others believed she didn't want to come back at all. Paparazzi photos showed her looking thin and distant, far from the smiling princess people once saw. When she gave updates, they felt cold and formal. Her smiles never looked real. Back in Monaco, Albert tried to keep things together. He went to events without her, brought the children along, and told reporters that she was getting better and just needed more rest. But over time, even he seemed unsure, like he was trying to convince himself. It became clear that this wasn't just about being sick. Something deeper was going on. Charlene's team released short updates, but they never came directly from her. She was gone, from early spring until late autumn. When she finally returned to Monaco in November, things didn't feel normal. Yes, she was home, but her spirit seemed far away. She looked exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. Just days after she came back, the palace announced she would take a break from royal duties and go to a private treatment center for severe exhaustion. They didn't say where it was, but some reports claimed it was in Switzerland. In a rare, honest moment, Albert admitted they were going through a tough time. What was really happening inside the palace? Did Charlene have a real choice, or was she just being pulled into a role she never asked for? Let's explore further. Withstanding the scandal. When Charlene came back, even just for a short visit, people noticed something had changed. She stood differently, more confidently, but she rarely smiled. She barely spoke to Albert, and when they were seen together, they didn't look like a happy couple. Instead, they looked like two people working on a task, not like a husband and wife. People close to the palace said she was no longer letting others control her. She had reached her limit, and this time, she wasn't going to stay silent just to keep things calm. Charlene didn't do interviews or speeches. Instead, she let her actions speak through long absences and keeping her distance. Her silence showed she wasn't playing along with the palace anymore. She was beginning to show her real self. The cold look in her eyes wasn't from being unfriendly. It was her way of staying strong and protecting herself. But now, it seemed like something inside her was changing, coming back to life.
Princess Charlene candidly admitted she has been going through a trying time. The Monegasque royal has been stuck in her native South Africa for several months.
By 2022, when she returned to the public eye, the difference in her was clear. She still looked calm and quiet, but now it felt like it was her choice, not an act. It seemed like she had taken control of her own story. Her hairstyle was no longer soft and royal. It was sharper, bolder, and shorter, showing she wasn't afraid to look different. Her clothes also reflected her true personality, not just a royal image. But Charlene wasn't the only one who had changed. Albert looked different too. He used to seem calm and in charge, but now he looked unsure of himself. He didn't lead their appearances anymore. He looked like he was trying to keep up with her. The balance of power between them had shifted, and people could feel it, even if no one said it out loud. Whispers spread that Charlene had stopped following strict palace rules. Some insiders said she was making her own rules now, and Albert wasn't stopping her. Maybe he felt guilty, or maybe he finally saw that he had tried to control too much. Whatever the reason, her return wasn't quiet or gentle. It was strong and carefully planned. In the past, Albert wanted to know everything Charlene did and everywhere she went. Some said he even had people watch her. But now, he was letting go, giving her more freedom. One clear sign of her change came at a charity event. She arrived alone, without any big announcement. People behind the scenes said Albert had started easing the pressure on her, finally giving her the space and independence she had long wanted. He was listening more, pushing less. Some even said he had become more emotional in private. One source claimed he had broken down in tears during a family talk, saying he just wanted peace. Whether that happened or not, one thing was clear. The relationship between Charlene and Albert had changed. Charlene, once seen as the quiet, overlooked princess, was now the one everyone noticed. Not because the palace wanted it, but because she now had a powerful presence. Meanwhile, Albert seemed lost in his own thoughts. As the rumors grew, the media once again started questioning the state of their marriage. Were they still a couple? Were they quietly redefining the boundaries of their relationship? Or had they decided to live alongside each other without truly being united? Let's find out. Charlene's shocking response. At first, Charlene didn't try to explain anything. She didn't even seem to care what people were saying anymore. Her silence and calm distance said more than any news story ever could. For the first time, her freedom wasn't just a dream. It was happening. The pressure that had once weighed her down had shifted. Now, it was Prince Albert who seemed unsure and out of place. The image he had carefully built was no longer under his control. The woman he once thought he could shape was finally ready to speak, not in hints or quiet signals, but clearly and openly. Then came the moment no one saw coming. In an unexpected interview, filmed far from the palace and aired without warning, Charlene spoke directly to the public. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed deep emotion. She looked into the camera and said it was time to stop hiding. She was done pretending. Her words hit like thunder. People close to the family said Albert was heartbroken. He reportedly cried while watching, overwhelmed by the emotions her words brought out. In that interview, Charlene didn't hold anything back. She spoke honestly and with clear pain. She shared what it was like living under constant royal pressure. She admitted she had stayed quiet for years out of loyalty and because of powerful forces around her. But the burden had become too much. She couldn't carry it anymore. This wasn't just about speaking up. She was breaking the royal rules, and in doing so, she was making history. People had whispered for a long time about Charlene's sadness, how she often missed royal events and stayed out of the public eye. But now, for the first time, she opened up and let the world see what she had been going through. The perfect princess life that everyone saw in photos wasn't real. What looked like a fairy tale was actually just an act. Behind the smiles and waves, she felt lonely. She was always being watched and lived with constant pressure. She said herself, she had never truly felt free. Charlene didn't say Prince Albert's name, but the message was clear. The timing made it even louder. Just a few weeks before, the two had appeared at a charity event, and they seemed cold and distant. People started wondering if their marriage had quietly ended. Insiders later said Charlene chose to film the interview far from the palace on purpose. She wanted to speak without being stopped or misquoted. It was also said that Albert didn't even know the interview was happening. When he saw it, he was crushed. One royal staff member said no one had expected it, and Albert was completely shaken. What made it even more powerful were the things Charlene hinted at. She talked about painful experiences that had been rumored for years. One of the most shocking was the story that she had tried to leave Monaco just days before her 2011 wedding. She didn't share everything, but she did say someone had taken her passport. That small statement hit hard. She said that even when she was told to pose and smile for photos, something deep inside didn't feel right. That's when she began to realize what it meant to be controlled. As soon as the interview aired, people everywhere reacted. Social media exploded. Some were shocked, some were sad, but most supported Charlene. Many had felt for years that something was wrong, and now her words confirmed it. Her interview also made people think again about her long stay in South Africa back in 2021.
It's so nice. I really enjoy coming back to South Africa. It's a wonderful country. The people are so resilient, and I'm just happy to be home.
But what could be the possible reason? Let's take a closer look. Truth is revealed. At the time, the royal family said Charlene left for health reasons. But now it's clear there was more to it. She needed a break, some space to breathe, and time to rediscover herself. The news spread quickly. Media from around the world reported on it, and social media was full of support for Charlene. Meanwhile, royal watchers were trying to figure out what this meant for Monaco's royal family. The palace responded the next day with a short and very careful statement. They didn't give details, just asked for privacy and understanding. But it was clear something serious was going on. No one could say for sure whether this was the start of a quiet separation, the final step in a long troubled marriage, or a whole new chapter. But one thing was obvious: Charlene was no longer staying silent. She was finally speaking for herself, and speaking loud and clear. People close to Prince Albert said he seemed lonelier than ever. Charlene's words didn't just surprise him, they may have changed the future of the royal family. After years of silence, the truth was finally out. In the days after her powerful interview, Monaco felt like it had entered a new reality. The carefully protected royal image was gone, replaced by something more real and emotional. The public, who had once been split in their opinions about Charlene, now mostly stood with her. Her pain no longer shocked them. It made sense. And inside the palace, everything changed. The mood grew heavy. Sources said Prince Albert quietly stepped out of the spotlight, canceling public events and retreating to the family estate, Rock Agel. Those close to him said he looked deeply hurt, struggling to accept that the marriage he thought would survive quietly was now out in the open. As for Charlene, she hasn't spoken again since the interview. Her friends say she feels there's nothing more to say. What she shared came from the heart. She's not interested in the palace trying to hide or fix things. A close friend said Charlene feels she's finally said what really matters. Now it's up to the royal family and the people of Monaco to decide what happens next. No one knows for sure what the future holds. Some believe Charlene and Albert might separate quietly, without any public drama. But her choice to speak out has done more than just change how people see their marriage. It has shaken the entire royal image. What do you think about Charlene's surprising decision to speak up? Let us know your answer in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.